Hello, I'm Justin Wilton.
I'm Jemiah Horton.
And this is MMSA Student News. To begin, re-enrollment for next year, 2018 to 2019, is beginning Monday. Be sure to have your parents fill out the form so that you will receive a new MMSA designed shirt for next year's re-enrolling class. You can also receive a chocolate bar when you return the form, and any homeroom that has 100% student participation in this re-enrollment process, not necessarily that you have to go here, but that you turn in the form, will receive a pizza party. And we all know that that pizza is delicious, so turn it in. Don't leave your classmates pizza-less, okay? Additionally, online applications are open for new students, okay? New students can go to the MMSA website in order to be a student at MMSA next year. Fill out the form and share that news with your friends, neighbors, and relatives. Share your MMSA pride, and you will also get a free uniform shirt for every referral. I would personally also like to add that I would encourage anybody to one, re-enroll to come here next year if that's okay with your situation. I understand things may change. And two, to refer your friends, relatives, and neighbors to come to this school as well. I understand that MMSA doesn't always come to mind when you think of the biggest high schools out there, and that's true. But the reason why you need to think of that a little bit differently is because MMSA really does have a lot of great schools for all its students to utilize, and all you need to do is realize that you can utilize those tools and then use them. For example, the senior classes this year and in years past are having many successes, a lot of them because of the students' own hard work at MMSA. And if you would like that future for yourself, which anybody is able to have, be sure to utilize the tools here and encourage other people to come as well. Bring people up. Don't push yourself down and don't push other people down. Encourage enrollment at MMSA.
Good point. Any student wanting to join student council for this semester, please be sure to go and talk to Ms. Zarinsky. Make sure that if you are in student council, you do not have to go back and talk to Ms. Zarinsky as your spot is already secured. But anyone who wants to make a change in the school, who has new inputs, creative ideas, and innovations, please make sure that you go to Ms. Zarinsky in order to secure your spot in student council. Along with that, I would like to announce the winners of last month's Guess Who I Am competition.
I thought you were Jemiah Horton. No? Really? No, she's not Jemiah Horton, y'all.
I am Jemiah Horton.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
I'd like to announce who won. Justin Wilson and Davion Pritchett.
Yeah, boy, let's go.
Good job.
That was sarcastic. I felt it.
They correctly guessed St. Nicholas. For this month, the hints include had 10 names but used only one, had 4 wives, twin brother died, started drawing at the age of 3, he did not believe in God, he had a violent temper, he had 35 paintings, he received a government sponsorship to study in Europe, he was a famous painter that traveled the world, he had cancer, he has a self-portrait, he had a lot of flower painting, his art focused on the events in his lifetime, he lived in Guanajuato for a time, he painted experimentally, his childhood home is now a museum. See the board outside room 144 for an entry slip. All guesses need to be turned into Ms. Phillips in room 144 by Friday. Happy guessing.
If I could do an acceptance speech real quick, I don't know. I would personally like to thank Miss G, AP World History, because me and Davion were both in it, and that helped us out a lot. Not that anybody who hasn't taken that class can't do it, but it does have real world applications like this right here. So thank you, Miss G.
And make sure that you do not Google these answers, because I remember a few of y'all Googled and you spelled the name. So just make sure that you don't Google the answers. If you don't know, you don't know.
High schoolers, midterms are next week. But we're going to be okay because we've been studying, and if we haven't been studying, we have the weekend to do so. Now, I would like to just give some details and some clarification on the midterm process. All high school students, first of all, are going to have lunch earlier than normal during the week of midterms from about 11:43 to 12:05. This is going to be because of the 4-period midterm schedule, to where you have midterm A during the first 2 normal periods and midterm B for the second midterm period. Now, high school students will be able to make up and finish their exams every day after lunch on Friday. That is important because you do not want to miss a midterm. You want to make sure that you take the midterm, prepare for it, and perform well on it in order to keep your grades looking good, which is very important. Furthermore, if any student stays at the school for any reason, you're welcome to leave. We want you to leave. I want to leave. I'm sure you do. You will have to follow your regular schedule after that lunch period. Furthermore, on Friday, we're only going to have makeup exams. That means high schoolers do not come to school. High school students are not expected to report to school unless they have exams to make up. That I want to make sure that that's clear. Don't come unless you have midterms to make up. And additionally, 8th graders, attention to all 8th graders. If you have midterms for your high school classes, specifically Algebra 1 in first hour or an 8th hour course where you have a high school midterm, the way that that's going to go is you're going to take your exams during the midterm week in first period, okay, on Monday. Additionally, when you are done, you're going to go to your second period class and then continue on your regular schedule. And then for 8th period and algebra midterms, you're going to take your midterms for the day that the teacher chooses. So make sure that you know when your midterm is going to be during the same class period with the high schoolers. That means that the 8th graders will now follow their regular schedules after that. And the teachers are going to inform them where to be during the high school exams. So make sure you know when your midterms are going to be. First period is going to be the first period exam on Monday. From first to second period Monday, the first exam block. And after that, make sure that if you have any high school classes, 8th hour, to know where you're going to be. You're following your schedule for the rest of the week, and it's complicated but simple. You just got to know what you need to do, so be sure to figure that out.
Now it's time to draw attention to our school mascot, which is a cougar. The nicknames that we have for him include Quirky, Charlie, Cookie, Coogie, Gucci, Conrad, Cash, and Crispy. Please make sure that you speak to your advisory teachers, and maybe you can do a vote or a poll in your class as to which nickname that you would like, and these results need to be given to Ms. Zorinsky as soon as possible.
My name is Lee Anthony Harmon. I'm in Ms. Fatahu's 11th grade government class. We had to do a project on the legislative branch about how I became a congressman. His name is Congress Cube, written by, like I said, Lee Anthony Harmon. My name is Congress Cube. Starts with a song. My name is Congress Cube, but I'm here to say my job in this world is to legislate. I make laws and that's cool, but now I'm gonna take you to school. That's the first page. Okay, let me break this down. When you work for Congress, you're a part of a group, either the Senate or the House. Don't worry, little dude, both sides are pretty cool. Now here's the facts. Senators have to be at least 30 years old. You must be an American for 9 years to be a senator though. And since as a senator you represent an entire state, you must live in the state that you want to represent. Now, if you want to be a House member, that's different. You only have to be 25 years old. And it's a little bit younger, you have to be an American for 7 years. But as a House member, you represent a district. So you still need to live in the state that your district is in though. You understand? Now, the mighty Senate. As a senator, you can serve in office for 6 years, but they have elections every 2 years. 33% of the senators get reelected. So it's like staggered. Now, as the wholesome House, you have an election for every 2 years, basically. So the entire House all changes every 2 years. Now, neither party has a term limit though, so you could serve forever, theoretically. Now, here are the constituents. Constituents are a congressman's lifeblood. They are the voters. They are who you must be sworn to represent. And as you can see right here, he is swearing in to represent his proud constituents. Representation. In the Senate, representation is equal, meaning that every state gets 2 senators. But in the House, representation is based on population. Population is the amount of people that live in a certain area. So if you have more people, that means you get more House members. Now, time for the nitty-gritty, how a bill becomes a law. You can see the Congress Cube. He's very happy. He's throwing up his hands. Now bills are what becomes laws. They start off in one of 2 sides, either the Senate or the House, which is what we already learned. It doesn't matter which side, because both sides end up getting to see the bill in the end, before it becomes a law. Now we're gonna say this bill is about everyone gets free juice forever. And this is gonna start off in the Senate. First, it will be passed around the Senate by Congress Cube number 79. He's a pretty cool Congress Cube. I met him just the other day. Now, it's read aloud to all the other Congress Cubes in that area, and they get to see how they like it. And if they like it, then it gets sent to the other Congress Cubes in the Senate. As long as everyone in the Senate likes it, it gets sent to the other side of Congress. In this case, that'll be the House. Then the House gets to look at it. And as long as everyone likes it without getting changed, then it goes to the mighty president. He's a circle. If the president likes it, then it gets passed. If the president doesn't like it, then it gets vetoed. Or the president can pocket veto it and send it off to the side for later. That's like when you ask your parents for something and they say, oh, you can't, they don't tell you can have it, but they don't tell you can't have it. They just don't really answer the question. Now, here's a couple different things that Congress can do as well, besides making a law. They can declare war. Senate can approve presidential appointments, so that's like who's in the president's like friend group or the popular kids. And they can make rules about citizenship. Also, people in the Congress, they can mail without using stamps. So that's like saving a lot of money. So go out and learn more about your state's congressmen and women. You never know what you'll learn. Thank you from the Congress Cube.
That concludes our broadcast. I would like to announce that from this point on, this broadcast is going to be aired on Tuesdays, not Fridays anymore. It's easier that way, and we're able to do that now. So just be sure not to make plans for advisory during Tuesday when you should be watching the news, or just be prepared to watch the news on Tuesdays. Either or. They're on Tuesday, not Friday. That concludes our broadcast. I'm Justin Wilton.
I'm Jemiah Horton, and this is MMSA
News.